The main project that we're talking about today is low methane sheep, where we are aiming to come up with an Australian sheep breeding value for methane so that producers can select rams for lower methane emissions in their flock. Our project aims to collect information about methane output from 10,000 sheep across southeastern Australia. Most of our work at the moment has been on merinos, but we also have done a lot of work on farm with different genotypes, Border Leicesters, Donies, Nudies, lots of crossbreds now. So the aim is to be able to compare size within breed and across breeds for that methane output. To measure methane, we essentially just putting sheep in a Perspex box for 40 minutes. So we start right on the bell. Somebody will say, right, it's time for the sheep to go in. You just simply tilt the chamber forward, sheep goes in, they actually go in really easily. And this sits back down in its water-filled moat, which is airtight. We're measuring the amount of methane that was in the air before they went in there, and then after 40 minutes, and it gives us a relative output of methane in terms of mils per minute or grams per minute. And that way, if you do that over a number of sheep, you can rank the sheep from highest to lowest. You can work out what was the highest production over that time, what's the lowest production over that time, and then try and take into account other factors such as the feed that they had or amount of intake that they had, and then come up with that breeding value for the relatively lower methane or relatively higher methane. We know some of the factors that affect methane in the short term. We know that dry matter intake is really important. We know that time of day is important, time off feed is important, so we control all those factors. Our input really has been focused on the data collection, and then we give that all to Animal Genetics Breeding Unit. They've been able to already come up with preliminary breeding values with a heritability of about 0.2, so it is a heritable trait, and they'd call it moderately heritable, so it gives good prospect for being able to work on a selection index that can be rolled out on farm. The proposed benefits from this project are a 1% reduction in methane across the Australian sheep flock. Now, it might not seem like a lot per year, but it's 1% this year, and then it's 1% next year, and then it's 1% the year after, because a genetics effect is a cumulative effect. Now, it's not going to be the answer by itself. We've already heard today about lots of other technologies and things that we can do to reduce methane, including pastures, production efficiency, additives that can reduce methane, and all these technologies are going to have to be used together to have meaningful results in the short term, but certainly a genetics result can have a long-term effect as well. Pasture system's an annual system. A supplement system is a daily system. It has to get in every day and probably multiple times per day, whereas a genetics effect, if it works, is going to be every year, and it'll be better next year and better the year after and better the year after. Yeah, I think one of the things that producers can do now is to think about how a methane ASBV might be able to be incorporated into their breeding system. What production traits are they already looking at? What production traits do they want to focus on in the future? And how could an ASBV for methane help them in their longer term goals? They'll have to be thinking about measuring methane perhaps, or measuring their sequestration. You know, it'll be part of a whole farming system in terms of how it fits in. But in terms of sheep breeding, start to think about how your objectives could change if you have this available to you.